I'm not going to say
I
which
came out as bisexual last year, and since then, I have been dating women. And what I've found very fascinating is that the more I date women, the more I find myself understanding heterosexual men. Let me explain. Exhibit A. I was on a first date with a girl who asked me out, by the way. This is relevant because when the check came, she never once made a move to pay. Not even like the fake, let me reach for my purse move. And though I don't mind paying on a date, part of me felt like, the offer would have been nice. I was also a little taken aback that she didn't even say thank you. And I never heard from her again. It really made me feel like she just asked me out so she could have a free dinner. And the moment I thought that, I was like, oh my God, I sound like all of my guy friends right now. And my argument against why guys should pay for dates has always been like, look, girls take hours to get ready. Our investment is looking really nice for you. Makeup, clothes, that costs money too. But we were both girls in this situation. We both took hours to get ready, so I definitely felt slighted. I admit I would usually dismiss. But now I really get it when they say, dating is just so expensive, man. Sometimes I feel like a girl doesn't...
Welcome to the group. We've been going through this.
Hey, I love that.
Anybody have any comments on this one?
Well, first off, my sister...
I meant West. Go, West.
yeah.
Do you have any comments on this?
Oh, do I have comments on this?
Why am I asking you, West?
Oh, because I love women.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does. You know what? I'm gonna just say it. My ex was more of the one who would pick up the bill. So okay. But in my defense, I would pay when I could afford it. But when they make 3 times what I make, there's just like a little expectation. So I would pay, what I could afford. It's just, if we like a fancy dinner and it's $700, I'm gonna pick it up every 6 months. They can pick it up like every.
So you're the feminine lesbian.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Physically, sexually, hold on.
We were both actually we were both femmes. So, it was like kind of
So no one pays, you just bitch.
I mean, yeah, there would be sometimes another man at dinner too.
That's a
Horrible idea. I do not support that. I do not support that at all.
Free dinner.
So that's I love that we played this video because my sister, who is gay, literally texted me, shout out that I'm single and I'm looking for a baddie. And then she texted me, the girl to your left is hot as fuck. And my sister will pick up the bill for you, girl. So there you go.
Well, women kind of intimidate me. My ex was the one who came up to me. And that's kind of how it started. So I feel like... Yeah, if you want to come to me, I will be really shy.
She'll be here in a couple months.
But regarding that woman's commentary, I totally understand it. That's why I don't date women, because I get scared and I'm like, I don't know what the expectations here are. And there was the only time that I was hooking up with a woman and we ended up she made the first move. I'm like, I don't want to go out of my way and then, pay for this meal. Not that there's expectations, but then if it's they're expecting me to pay and don't even offer, that's weird. And then if we're going back to your place to make out and then you just talk to me, no offense, don't bring me out then because I don't go out.
Do you want to go to Delilah's next week? I'm just saying, I'll take the tab.
I love Delilah.
More than
Great view.
Exactly. If they're it's just I understand where she's coming from, but I think when it comes more naturally, that, it happens better, And
Naturally, between a man and a woman?
No, naturally, just in general, men and women, I feel like a lot of people are so fixated on their phones. They don't know how to have social skills. I'm how I meet people is in real life. How I met my ex was in real life. How I met the guys I see in real life. None of it that goes online, sorry, doesn't work that way for me.
So the lesson here is for a woman to aggressively come ask you out.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Take notes, Gab.
Don't think I don't listen.
And that you miss 100% of the shots you don't.
Yes, thank you, Wayne Gretzky. Thank you, Wayne Gretzky.
No offense, but if a man makes a move, that shows he has direction. When a woman makes a move, that shows they have direction.
Yes.
I
Laura,
will.
who should pay for the date?
Which one of the lesbians should pay for the date, Laura?
The one who asks.
With the man or the woman?
Yeah, the one who asked
Yes.
the person out should
Okay.
take them on, should pay for the date. There, and not only that, plan it. Come with
There
a
it
plan.
is.
Plan it. There you go.
Have a plan.
So would you say that those roles of like gender, like the male and female roles, show up even in same-sex relationships?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
the provider and the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, and then I like can take on that role of like, she was more of the provider, but then I became the trophy wife. I was like, I need to be training all the time. I need to be looking good. Like if I'm gonna be out there, like I'm gonna be arm candy. Like I looked great.
I do think it's interesting how she picked up on the that she said one thing and then did another. I do
Isn't that
feel
wild?
as though we as women we can do that if we're not extra conscious of that.
That's crazy.
But I think it's more of a lady trait.
Yeah, well, I mean, the number one thing, and again, it's nobody's fault here, but because trying to explain attraction to women, like a lot of times you guys don't understand what you're attracted to. You understand what makes you feel comfortable, but it's like when women say things like, I want a man who's kind, reads books, takes care of animals, and buys me flowers. It's like, no, you want a man you're attracted to be kind, who reads books, buys you flowers. But you leave that part out. Women rarely ever say that first part. And because of that, guys are like, oh, she wants a guy to be nice to her. I'm going to go. Can we go on a date? On Instagram. What are these? Oh, these weirdos. They're hitting me up all the time. Why are these weirdos hitting me up? Because you said you wanted a guy who's going to be nice. I had Masha Daidu come on my podcast one time. She goes, I just like guys who are really nice. I'm like, I love you, honey, but shut the fuck up. You don't like guys who are nice. You like super handsome, rich dudes who are nice.
Go ahead.
Stop it.
Go ahead, Laura.
But it really does boil down to what she was saying about organic, right? Like there is that attraction. You meet them in person. It's not online. It's not fake, right? Like there has to be some attraction there.
Yeah, so like when Harper is asking me more directly, like, and I find her attractive, that's right. But he's exactly right. If I'm not attracted to the man, like I appreciate your effort, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna say no. So, but if it's like someone I'm attracted to, then it makes all the difference.
Hey, Wes, does anyone?
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wes, does anyone ever say no to you?
No.
No one says no to Wes. How about that?
What I was going to say is we need to, like more to your point, we need to make a distinction between arousal and attraction, okay? So there's the side of, like when you ask a woman, what are you looking for in a man? Oh, I want a guy who likes puppy dogs and rainbows, and my mom likes him, and he wants kids in the future, and he makes X amount of money, and he's educated, he's better, he has a great personality, all these very long-term kind of qualities. But if I say, what about a guy really gets you off? Like, okay, he's got to have biceps, he's got to have a V taper, he's got to have a six pack.
No,
they won't even say that.
They'll say dad bod. I don't care how tall he needs to be.
Exactly.
They'll say this nonsense, and then you see who they date, and it's like,
Hey, I always own up to straight out of jail with face tattoos.
of course, you do. Yes, you are.
I own up
you are
to
in
that.
one with your toxicity.
Yes. There's the arousal factor, which has to be there before you get to the long term. Oh, he likes rainbows and puppy dogs, and my mom loves him, right? So there's got to be those two. I keep telling even my guys, like you have to have a certain level of arousal factor for you to even get your foot in the door in the first place.
Yeah, I can understand why a lot of these kind of like the angry red pill guys and the incels always are screaming in the comments, pay attention to their actions and not what they say. Pay attention to what they're doing and not what they're saying. I get it. I feel for them in that. I think if we as women did learn to be a little bit more direct, I try to keep it like 3 to 5 sentences and then end it with a question. Actually, Michael taught me that, end it with a question. And then for me, that seems to be the best kind of communication when I'm communicating with the opposite sex.
There was a guy just this morning, as a matter of fact, it was in my Twitter feed, and there's this guy who is just absolutely yoked. You could tell he's on gear or something. He has been like his tweet or his message might have been on Reddit was, this is the body I have after 14 years of putting this time and effort and energy into it, and the girl that he wants is with a guy who makes less money, has no muscles, is just like sort of this emo kind of weesh guy. But that's the chick that he wanted to get with is with that kind of guy. And I'm like, that's because your body and your being built doesn't insulate you from being congruent,
You're
having
not
game,
then
having
entitled. Yeah.
You're still blue pill. You still think that this is the way things ought to be, and all you have to do is gross out in one area, like money, muscles, and game. He grossed out in muscles because that was his greatest strength, right? To his credit, right? But everything else suffers as a result of that. So he's not the complete package anymore. He's really good at being big and everything else, but if you can't carry a conversation, if you don't have any personality, if you just stumble, you trip over your own dick, that's just the way that you're not going to.
It must be really, really big.
You trip over your own dick. I think there's some girls.
I would say, and at this stage in the game, the men are lacking, sorry men, but the men are most lacking in the social skills. I think if the majority of men, and this is somebody that I talk a lot about money, if the majority of men could just get it together socially, I think the rest would follow. But I also have to say, I think it's due part to not only social media, but like this online dating. This online dating is really fucking all of us over because it's so low effort. People even talk about, well, I ghosted somebody, that I had a date with him on Friday. You've never met him. You've never met him. Did you even really ghost him? Do you even know if he was real? We don't even know who ghosted who. You guys have never met. So it's just, it's kind of sad because we continue in this loop of we don't have a lot of social skills, but yet we're not actually making real plans, going out on the real date and going in person.
One of the things that this is a constant question that I have been asked really since the beginning of this year. Okay. And when we look at we look at fictional depictions like of adolescence and all these questions about what's happened to masculinity, why are men falling off, why are guys they're socially inept, what's the crisis of quote unquote masculinity, and it all comes back to that social skills thing, where it's one thing to understand what's going on and talk about it and everything else. It's another thing to take action. It's like guys simply just don't want to take action. And the reason why they don't want to do that is because they're online all the time, just commiserating about this kind of stuff. And what happens is, and I'm using this term in the clinical sense, their social skills are retarded. It literally they have to catch up to that. So when he's doing MOA and I'm doing Reignite, I'm trying to help guys sort of, reintegrate themselves back into the sexual marketplace, or these guys trying to integrate into the sexual marketplace in the first place, right? What we're teaching is not game, it's not pickup artists, it's social skills is what it is that they didn't get along the way. Because when we learn social skills, we do by observing behavior and aping that behavior. If you are not seeing that live in real time all the time, and you're being brought up behind a tablet or a screen or a phone or something like that, you don't pick up vocal intonations, you don't pick up subcommunications,
body
you don't
language.
pick up like facial expressions. I could raise my voice like this, and you don't hear that in a text. So it's like you wonder why there's this uptick in diagnosis of autism amongst young men right now. I don't think it's autism. I think it's just simply a lack of learning those social skills.
I would support
and so
that.
where the fuck do they go to learn these social skills?
No idea.
MOAmentoring.com. MOAmentoring.com.
At Joe's event and everything, where there were guys that came out of the country and they really did need to pick up social skills when talking to women. So it's like Joe had attractive women there, and we're talking to these men, and we literally had a workshop where it's like he told the girls, okay, show that you're really interested in this man. So I'm touching his arm, I'm laughing, I'm asking him questions, and then just to show them what it was like if a woman isn't interested, I'm crossing my arms, I'm answering with one word, I'm rolling my eyes, because it really is down to the basics of they have no idea. And so it's there are classes like that. I was there too, and it was honestly so fun.
What she's describing is we have these exercises in Reignite where we have the guys that are talking back and forth to girls, and then you give them feedback afterwards. So it's like in a non-hostile environment so that they can understand what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong.
Exactly.
So consider you're a man and your boy in your formative years going through puberty. The majority of your interactions are on social media. And so you get to this point where you get a little bit older, and then you start talking to women, and then what you're talking about, Monica, a lot of guys won't get that because they're afraid to talk to women.
Exactly.
It's not very popular, not traditionally good looking. And so what happens is now they keep guessing wrong whenever they have these interactions. And because they keep getting wrong, they get punished. They don't understand why they're being punished.
They get down about just the relationship.
And then some of them become very angry.
Can I say something with this, please? I'm not sure much I can say with this, but in Australia, I get paid by the government to help these men. In Iraq. It's actually paid by the government because for that reason in itself. And I told you I'd catch on the line, I will. Is because what you just said just then. These sometimes very, very autistic men and so forth. If you take those men who are very severely in those spaces and you take sex away and they have got no space for that, they could go on to do crime, so to speak. So the government pays services.
They need a men of action there.
For them to have an outlet, that if they didn't have an outlet, it could cause
instead of porn or video games.
I've got a daughter who's 14 years old.
Okay.
And I love my daughter to death, and I'm trying to teach her the great in the world, and those things, I'm saving her from that type of shit. Sorry. So in regard, it's like these things are necessary, and that's why I delve very, very. That's why I've done sex therapy and stuff myself into this reason, because I think there's the polarity between right and wrong with everything, and I will rebut anything today. Like, you want to talk about a topic? I'll go back at any time, any day. I love it because I feel like if for any reason there is a answer and stuff, all this stuff, and I love it. And I feel like in a way that you're sometimes people dismay something without knowing knowledge with it.
I'm with you. If you're a man and you're trying to help other men level up, there's always going to be people who question you, hate you, think that whatever you're doing
people
is
hate
fake.
me, I'm a female.
Right, for sure. It happens all the time. Like CJ's been my friend for we've been friends for the last 15 years. And in this whole situation, she sees, because other people that are in the space, no matter what good you do, everyone's like, you're just paying these hoes or you're being toxically masculine.
It's in the comments right now.
I was just going to say, I got it right here.
It's right fucking here.
It's like, I don't got $2,000 to learn social skills.
Yeah.
Do you have $14.99?
Right.
One thing that really stuck out.
Do you have $14.99?
If you go on Audible, you get it for free.
Start here.
But he'd rather
bootleg it from all the pirates.
He'd rather sit there on a free YouTube show and claim, "Oh, women don't bring shit to the table. I've built the table." Sir, you couldn't build the table if you bought it from IKEA. You couldn't do it. But you're sitting over there. You're in your comfort zone. You're in your warm house, and you're with your Postmates, and you're doing all that, and you're saying, women suck. I'll never get one, so I might as well just be angry on the internet.
Go ahead, Laura.
One thing that really stuck out with when on your last show, go out, get drunk.
Oh yeah,
Scott
Galloway.
Like, what are we gonna do? Don't do that. Then wear your social.
The men and women need to meet more. Go out, make mistakes, get drunk. And I was just like, it's really interesting that Scott Galloway.
Hold on, the guy.
Real quick, for all of you guys out there who have heard all kinds of rumors about how much my product costs, including the London Times. Shout out to London Times for getting nothing right. And asking me for no comment and doing zero fact checking. If you guys want to go on my website, moamentoring.com, it is $27 for you to get a course and lifetime access to our community.